Hello and welcome to the English Speaking Practice Podcast. I'm here to help you improve your English through the power of storytelling. Listening to stories is a fantastic way to build vocabulary, understand sentence structures, and develop fluency. As you listen today, try to focus on how words and phrases are used naturally in conversation. After the story, I'll give you some speaking exercises to help you practice. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. The Forgotten Town. It was a cold, misty evening when Daniel's car broke down on a lonely road. He had been driving for hours, trying to reach his grandmother's house before nightfall. But now, stuck in the middle of nowhere, he had no choice but to find help. He grabbed his phone, but there was no signal. Sighing, he stepped out of the car and looked around. The road stretched endlessly into the darkness, but just a little further ahead, he saw something lights flickering through the trees. A town? He hadn't seen anything on the map about a town in this area. Curious and desperate for help, Daniel started walking toward the lights. As he got closer, he saw a sign at the town entrance. The paint was old and faded, but he could still make out the name, Ravenshade. Strange, he thought. He had never heard of this place before. The town was eerily quiet. The streets were lined with old buildings, their wooden doors creaking slightly in the wind. The street lamps gave off a dim glow, barely lighting the cobblestone paths. Daniel walked cautiously, looking for someone who could help. Finally, he spotted a small shop with its lights still on. The sign above the door read, Madeline's General Store. He pushed the door open, and a small bell rang. An elderly woman stood behind the counter, arranging some canned goods on the shelves. She looked up and smiled. Well, we don't get many visitors around here. What brings you to Ravenshade, young man? Daniel explained his situation, hoping she might have a phone or at least know where he could find a mechanic. A broken-down car, you say? The only mechanic in town, old Mr. Hargrove, passed away years ago, she said, shaking her head. And as for phones, well, they haven't worked here in a long time. Daniel frowned. No phones? How is that possible? What about mobile networks? The woman sighed. Strange things happen here, dear. Things that can't always be explained. But don't worry, there's an inn down the road. You should stay the night and leave in the morning. It's not safe to be out too late. Not safe? What do you mean? Daniel asked, suddenly uneasy. The woman didn't answer immediately. Instead, she handed him a small lantern. Take this. The streets get very dark at night. The inn is just past the old clock tower. You can't miss it. Daniel thanked her and left, but her words stayed with him. Strange things happen here. It's not safe at night. What did she mean? As he walked through the town, he noticed something odd. There were no cars, no modern signs, no advertisements, just old-fashioned storefronts and houses. It felt like stepping back in time. Then he reached the clock tower. Its hands were frozen at 11:47 p.m. That's strange, he thought. Was it broken? He looked around, but the streets were empty. Not a single person in sight. He walked faster, the silence making him uneasy. Finally, he saw the inn, a large, old building with ivy creeping up its walls. A warm light glowed from the windows, and a wooden sign above the door read, The Raven's Rest. Inside, the innkeeper, a tall man with silver hair, greeted him. Ah, a traveler. Welcome. You must be tired. We don't get many visitors here. Daniel nodded. Yes, I'd like a room for the night. My car broke down outside town. The innkeeper gave him a knowing look but said nothing as he handed over the key. Room 3. Sleep well, young man. And if you hear anything strange at night, just ignore it. Daniel's stomach tightened. Ignore it? What do you mean? The man simply smiled and turned away. Feeling uneasy, Daniel took the key and went upstairs. His room was small but cozy, with an old wooden bed and a large window overlooking the town square. He locked the door, turned off the lantern, and lay down. But sleep didn't come easily. The wind howled outside, and somewhere in the distance he thought he heard whispers. He sat up, heart pounding. Was it just the wind? He listened closely. The whispers seemed to be coming from the hallway. Slowly, he got out of bed and tiptoed to the door. He placed his ear against its soft voices, speaking in hushed tones. But when he opened the door, nothing. The hallway was empty. Daniel's skin prickled. Maybe he was just tired. He shut the door, locked it again, and got back into bed. But just as he was drifting off, he heard something else ... A knock on the window. His breath caught. He turned his head slowly, afraid of what he might see. But when he looked, there was nothing there. Just the dark town below. He pulled the covers over his head and forced himself to sleep. Morning came too slowly. When he woke up, the sun was shining and the town looked normal. The strange whispers, the knocking, had it all been a dream? Shaking off the eerie feeling, he packed his things and went downstairs. The innkeeper was waiting for him ... Leaving so soon? The man asked, his voice calm. Yes, Daniel said. Thank you for the stay, but last night I heard something. The innkeeper nodded slowly. Ah, you heard them. Daniel froze. Them? Who? The man gave a small smile. The ones who never left. A chill ran down Daniel's spine. He didn't ask any more questions. He just took his bag, thanked the man, and left. When he reached his car, he was shocked to find it perfectly fine, as if it had never broken down. Heart pounding, he got in and started the engine. This time, it worked perfectly. Without looking back, he drove away from Ravenshade, the mysterious town that wasn't on any map. And as he drove, he glanced in the rearview mirror. The town was fading, disappearing into the mist. Had it ever really been there at all? Podcast closing host. Wow, what a story. Now, let's practice speaking. Can you retell the story in your own words? Try answering these questions. Why did Daniel stop in Ravenshade? What was strange about the town? What happened at the inn? How did the story end? Practice speaking out loud, even if no one is listening. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.